What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things box. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Make sure you put it on those, as usual. Just going to talk about the boxing and one of the most impressive performances of the night for me came from Dynamite Daniel Dubois, Triple D, Dynamite Daniel Dubois versus Filip Hrgovic. Now, going into this fight, for me, I thought Hrgovic was probably the favorite. Daniel Dubois, he's in a sort of period of resurgence. He's coming off of a good win over Jarrell Big Baby Miller or Big Farmer Miller, where he had to show heart, he had to show courage, and he got a stoppage in the last round. So Dubois is coming off of decent form. Hrgovic has been a bit inactive. He hasn't really had much of a meaningful fight in a while. His most, his recent form was against the YouTube boxer, the guy that learned how to box from YouTube. I think that Mark Demori, who was no challenge. You could say don't even really belong in the ring with Hrgovic. So that was who they were both coming off of on the previous card. And going into this, you would have thought Hrgovic is the favorite, the sort of guy that's had more, is at a quite high level, beat Zhile Zhang, good amateur experience and stuff. So going into this, he was kind of the favorite. But I thought to myself, well, Daniel Dubois got a chance. And Daniel Dubois proved to me that not only does he have a chance, but he proved that he can win this fight and he can take Filip Hrgovic apart. And this was one of the best fights on the card because it started off with Filip Hrgovic enjoying loads of success with simple boxing, 1-2s, 1-2, 1-2. And, Dubois took so many 1-2s, it was unbelievable. That first sort of 2-3 rounds, Dubois was just, he was coming forward. He had a little bits of success, was able to land some power shots against Filip Hrgovic, but Hrgovic was kind of the man in control, throwing that jab, sometimes from a lip, having his left hand quite low, throwing a sharp jab followed by a right hand. And Dubois had to eat loads of these shots, and it did stumble Dubois and knock him back a little bit. But Dubois, to his credit, he just kept coming. He just, for some reason, he's just got that fighting spirit now where he's not going to be denied, he's not going to be discouraged. And it was the great thing about Dubois' performance is that although, he lost a good, couple of these early rounds, he just kept coming back and he'd have his little successes, sometimes with a right hook and straight right hand over the top. And he'd just sort of keep pursuing Filip Hrgovic. So Hrgovic was winning the fight early, doing nice boxing. And the thing was, he couldn't really, at the time, it was one of those things that, I didn't know what you don't know until they get in with each other. But at the time, it seemed like he couldn't really hurt Daniel Dubois, like in a serious way to discourage Daniel Dubois, to make him go down or something like that. So it's like Hrgovic landed his best shots early, and then Daniel Dubois, he took them and he was coming back. So Dubois kept on him, kept plugging away, and eventually Daniel Dubois turned the fight around and he managed to give Hrgovic a cut from quite early in the fight, I think around round 4 or 5, something of that nature. And he just kept coming after Hrgovic, and eventually just started to break him down. In one of those sort of mid rounds, Hrgovic his arm was like kind of wobbling and shaking when he was trying to throw a jab. And, Hrgovic, you could tell that there was sort of a distress, that he was feeling a bit distressed, because in those mid rounds, when Dubois was sort of coming on strong and he started using a good double jab, Hrgovic, you could tell it was really discouraging him and bothering him. He looked bothered, he looked tired, and he had the cut over the, I think, left eye first, and then he had another cut over the right eye. And then Dubois just kept working away, and he hurt him, hurt Hrgovic with some good power shots, and he just kept pouring on the pressure. And eventually Hrgovic just knackered, and Dubois just kept putting it on him all night long. And eventually, I think it was round 7, if I'm not mistaken, Hrgovic could simply take no more, because there are multiple times in this fight where the doctors had to look at Hrgovic's eyes. Hrgovic, looked very discouraged, very disheveled. He looked out of sorts, like he just couldn't handle it. And eventually, Daniel Dubois' pressure was just too much, and Hrgovic goes back to the corner, and he doesn't come out to complete the following round. So yeah, very impressive performance by Daniel Dubois. His pressure and everything was just way too much for Filip Hrgovic. I mean, it was one of those fights where I sort of thought, yeah, he's got the potential, but I did have doubts about Daniel Dubois. I thought Filip Hrgovic might be a bit too awkward for him. He might be a bit, he might be able to sort of outbox Daniel Dubois or out tough Daniel Dubois, but it turned out it was a complete opposite. Daniel Dubois just broke him down and broke his heart, and just absolutely destroyed Filip Hrgovic. Shot selection was excellent from Daniel Dubois, and I just felt the doggedness and the never say die attitude of Daniel Dubois. I mean, he took so many shots off of Filip Hrgovic. He's going to have a sore head this morning, but congratulations to Daniel Dubois. It was just too gritty, too much pressure, too young, too fresh for Hrgovic, and it was a very impressive performance by Dubois. And that means with him beating Hrgovic, that's another good name on his resume now. And you never know. It's one of these where Anthony Joshua, he's I'm not sure who his opponent's going to be, but you could be looking now at Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua in Wembley Stadium. You could even be looking at Zhilei Zhang versus Daniel Dubois as well. That's another possibility, but I think Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois would be a big, massive fight now, because now Dubois has really come of age. He's really, that performance there was a real standout performance. That was a performance that showed he doesn't, the quitting thing is a thing of the past. And he's a guy with real heart, real grit, real determination. He's now matured into a man and a proper boxer, proper fighting man who just never says die. And brilliant by Daniel Dubois. Let me know your thoughts on this. Daniel Dubois absolutely destroying Filip Hrgovic, cutting both eyes and just breaking his heart. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, it's MKO Pugilism, over and out.